Welcome back here once again, everyone. In a piece of news that is not shocking at all, because I could have told you this was going to happen. I could have actually told you it was going to happen. I told you this. I told you that Amazon's Lord of the Rings, which I think Lord of the Rings, was boring, totally boring. Then I did a video showing that one of the Amazon analysts fell asleep watching a god awful thing. And now that they've decided to do a season 2, we're getting a different take on it now. This article here from Bounding Into Comics. Rumor, Amazon to retool the Lord of the Rings of Power, sideline current showrunners after first season was more of a failure than they could have been anticipated. When you spent $1 billion to produce such nonsense, such garbage, that people couldn't wait for it to over. 8 episodes of terribleness. I only watched 4 and I was out. That's some people who stuck around for all and did videos on it, and every video that they did showed it was terrible. Now the showrunners got this gig because of who they knew. I mean, they came out talking about how they were going to modernize, and that's pretty much bastardize J.R.R. Tolkien's work because they don't care about it. Let's get into this article and see what's going on. With Amazon's live action bastardization of J.R.R. Tolkien's seminal fantasy work having underperformed by practically every metric, a new rumor suggests that the company will be retooling the Lord of the Rings of Power, for its second season, starting with sidelining of its current showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. Word of this apparent shakeup was first suggested by noted film critic, industry insider, and Film Threat founder Chris Gore during an appearance on the 314th episode of the YouTube live stream show Midnight's Edge in the Morning. Discussing the series' first season finale with that day's panel, Gore was eventually asked by host Andre, "What have you heard from your peers in the industry? Is everyone so impressed with the Rings of Power like the showrunners suggest we should be?" To which the critic admitted back, no. In fact, said Gore, not only were his industry contacts unimpressed with season 1, but the reception to it was so generally abysmal that Amazon has set out to course correct for season 2. I heard from someone who has a connect at Amazon that if you want to know that effectively they're going to be retooling, and Payne and McKay are more than likely, they're not going to be publicly fired, but their role will be reduced, potentially just reimagining in the writer's room. Just remaining, in the writer's room. But my understanding is they're looking for more experienced showrunners. You see, this is what happens when you hire people because of who they know, not because that they have any talent. When they started off with this Amazon Lord of the Rings, they did what is common now. Accuse the fans of being racist, accuse the fans of being bastard, despicable, wretched racists. That's what they do. And when they set out to do these things, and these things fail miserably, they then turn around and say to you, like, okay, so this didn't work because you all made it not work. That's it. You all made it not work. And when in order to say that, they basically say, if you don't want to be a racist, if you don't want to be this, you want to be that, want to be some kind of insta or whatever, watch this series and like it. People watch this series, hated it, and now they're trying to do damage control. You spent $1 billion, over $1 billion, probably, put that money somewhere else, because you could not have possibly spent that kind of money and made that kind of garbage. No way. But they did, as far as we know that is. To this end, Gore detailed that Amazon is well aware of the problems before noting that there's while there's what they publicly say, there's also what they're actually doing behind the scenes. And what they're doing behind the scenes is they're freaking out that this was more of a failure than could have been anticipated. Of course, the man J.R.R. Tolkien wrote the books. There are stories on these characters. Do it that way. No, you decided let's modernize it. Turn Galadriel into basically Guy Adriel. Make everything about the show into a total flicking wreck and a disaster. And then turns out, Sauron, who is the master of hide and seek and has been playing it for thousands of years, was the very person that everybody thought Sauron was actually going to be. And then in the end, what did we learn? They're all stupid. I didn't watch it, as I said. I just saw somebody do a review for it. But in the end, we just learned that, everybody in that series is just a bunch of idiots. You know what was supposed to be done. You could have done that. You didn't. You pretty much destroyed it. And this is what goes on. Because they keep hiring and listening to these people who don't know what the hell they're talking about and are constantly destroying modern entertainment. And they keep allowing them to do it. And it's like they just don't want to learn. We continue on as to what has caused the company higher-ups to obstinately sit up and get their act together. Gore speculated that there were 3 key reasons for this change. I think the quality of the show is the number one thing, he continued. Audiences are like, why am I still watching this? This is sleep-inducing. Exactly. It's so boring, it put people to sleep because this was what did. Now somebody said to me that, people get so accustomed to action and they want action. That is not it. It has nothing to do with wanting action all the time. You can do a show and build the pace well so that it remains interesting. Look at a series like Reacher. Reacher was 8 or 9 episodes, I believe, here. And yes, that had action in it, but it had a good, interesting, gripping story that moved and paced itself well, so you were interested as it went along. Lord of the Rings didn't have that. What it had was something to make you fall asleep. If you have insomnia, watch the first episode, maybe the second one of this, and I'm guaranteeing you will sleep like a baby. The second thing is the total rejection from fans, he suggested. I can't believe there has to be very few people who still like it. Yeah, I don't know anybody who's an actual Lord of the Rings fan, a true Lord of the Rings fan, that could say that they actually like this. I really don't think that there's anybody left. And thirdly, the direct competition from House of the Dragon. Even like pre-seed and post-seed of the show's airing, it started earlier and is ending later, thus keeping it in viewers' consciousness for a longer period of time. Yeah, but you see, even if it's competing with House of the Dragon, if you do something good on your own, you could have outpaced House of the Dragon, but you didn't. You didn't. You made a boring, sleep-inducing show, and then you decided to act like people should love it just because. Though it may be years before Gore's speculation is outright confirmed or denied, the damningly low audience scores currently held by the series on review aggregate sites Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes make it clear that something needs to be done should Amazon hope to justify their $1 billion Lord of the Rings investment. As of writing, Rings of Power currently holds, okay, let's check it here. Metascore 71, user score 2.5, and on Rotten Tomato it has a 39% audience score and an 85% critic rating. And I've said before, I say again, I don't know who these critics are, but they just love everything, and that's why they just show them that this is why you can't really trust these people. Clearly, even without delving into the massive waves of discourse surrounding the honoring of Tolkien's work, or the cast and crew's insulting of the author's fans, the series has failed to land with viewers. And while some may feel justified in pointing to its respective 71 out of 185 fresh ratings from critics, these numbers are probably suspect thanks to Amazon studio boss Jennifer Selke's own admission that they were censoring reviews from critics who had points of view that we wouldn't support. So you were only listening to people who said what you liked. Yeah, that really sounds very good, which suggests an obvious slant in the sentiments communicated by those reviews which were actually published. Further, that Amazon attempted to slant public perception of the series in their favor, the fact that The Rings of Power still holds a terminally low audience score speaks volumes to just how little audiences truly enjoyed this slugging ride. The entire embarrassing first season of Amazon Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, is now streaming on Prime Video. This, I think I have said all I could and should say in regards to the Lord of the Rings now. It wasn't good. They had to make a season 2 because they needed to find a way to justify the $1 billion dump of money down the drain that they did. But it's clear, Amazon itself admitted that they were deliberately trying to fudge the facts to make it look favorable to them. It didn't work. Fans didn't like it, and the show is just not going to work. And now that they want to get rid of the showrunners and bring in somebody else, it's not going to change anything if you don't change what you're doing. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell, be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.